Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be talking about a very embarrassing situation involving Hasan Piker and one of his biggest orbiters, Mike from PA. Now specifically, Mike from PA recently tried to dunk and virtue signal on a teenager's post on Twitter, which would go absolutely horribly for him to the point where he felt so ashamed of the negative responses, he decided to hide them and pretend like nothing is happening. Now, before we get into today's video, as always, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe so you're an engaged viewer in the eyes of YouTube. That is their new system. They might not count your view, even if you watch the entire video without doing those things. That's the new system. It annoys me too, but it's worth reminding you guys to do that and to do that to other content creators in their videos if you enjoy them. But anyways, we have Mike from PA, the definition of an internet tough guy, someone who goes around threatening other content creators. But at the end of the day, this is the same alpha Mike that we're talking about. This clip is from a few years ago, but it really sums up this guy. And I play this only because he is very, very insecure about this post. And if you share any screenshots of this clip, he will hide it on Twitter within a millisecond.
That's fine. I think that's fine. So if a guy pays for my tab,
I think I'm getting your attention.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, that is Mike from PA, the guy who has openly threatened other content creators. He's advocated for political violence. This guy has a very mean streak in him, but of course, it's a giant tough guy facade that crumbles almost instantly. And one of my favorite clips that I'm always going to play, as with the previous one, is this one where a few months ago he advocated and encouraged his audience to conduct citizens' arrests on people he believes are supporting genocide.
You are justified in attempting citizens' arrest. This is not my idea, by the way. On war crimes and genocide, everyone has the right to arrest or detain a criminal. And defending genocide is the same thing as doing it. Universal jurisdiction is a legal principle allowing states to prosecute individuals for certain serious crimes such as genocide, war crimes, and crime against humanity, regardless of where the crime occurred or the nationality of the perpetrator or victim. And therefore, every human being is instantly deputized in the entire world to take means to arrest that person and take them to The Hague.
And by people supporting genocide, basically means anyone who disagrees with him politically or just on any sort of an opinion. Also, don't do that. Highly illegal. His understanding of this is as bad as his reading skills. But anyways, what's going on here is this tweet. So this is what we're talking about today. So you have this individual named Nathaniel making an edgy tweet talking about Nazis, and you have people trying to debate him. Understand this is a teenager. I think he's like 14 or 15 years old. And why this particular individual is so relevant is because his father is Destiny. Now, I am not a Destiny fan, and from what I can understand from a bird's eye view of the situation, without knowing anything about their personal life, it seems like their relationship, father and son here, is a bit strained. But anything beyond that is not my business, and I wouldn't know better than anyone else because that's their personal life. But a lot of people have been not only attacking Destiny, but attacking his son as a proxy because they have a big problem with him. Before there was ever Asmongold derangement syndrome or even Ethan Klein derangement syndrome, for Hasan and his orbiters, what came first was Destiny derangement syndrome. And you can see Mike from PA quoting this teenager saying, "This is child abuse and neglect. Someone needs to intervene and get this underage child off the internet. They are clearly unsafe and in dangerous neo-Nazi communities as an underage child." Now, there's one thing I agree with when it comes to Mike's tweet here. Underage children should not be on the internet, especially social media. I think everyone can agree on that, but it's very rich to see this guy virtue signaling about this particular set of claims here, especially when it comes to these claims of someone being a neo-Nazi. This is the guy who only a few weeks ago was banned on Twitch for calling Jews a demonic ethnicity.
Between Arab and Jew, In the days that followed
That's shit crazy.
the blessed
Jew
night-
is not a fucking ethnic. It is Jewish is not an ethnicity. This constructed ethnicity, this demonic ethnicity, wholly invented.
This is another reminder that people like Mike from PA on Twitter love to call anyone they disagree with a Nazi, but at the end of the day, their rhetoric sounds way more like what a Nazi would say than the people they're accusing of being that specific thing. And yeah, this guy who says Jews are a demonic ethnicity is now going to preach to you about what's a neo-Nazi or neo-Nazi communities or stuff like that. It's very ironic. And also, I look back at some of his tweets literally 3 years ago, almost to the date. He was calling out people for being anti-Semites. Is this what happens when you surround yourself with people like Hasan and his orbiters? It literally rots your brain to the point where you just go completely mask off like he has in the recent months. But anyways, just in case you were wondering, he got a 1-week ban for that clip. Just 1 week. And honestly, I'm surprised he got a full week. I thought for sure it was going to be 1 to 3 days. Now, typically, if you said that and you weren't some favorite on Twitch, it'd be a permaban, right? But from people like Mike from PA, it was a 1-week ban. And like I said, I'm surprised they even gave him that long of ban, given their history. But as you can see, Nathaniel, Destiny's son, would reply an absolutely ratio. Mike from PA saying, "You put a hit on my father, I don't think you have a say on what a quote-unquote safe environment is for a child." He's not exaggerating, ladies and gentlemen. I will share this clip again where Mike from PA encouraged his audience and even put out a monetary reward for someone to implicitly game end Destiny.
They're not even running. They're not even like cowering and running away and screaming in fear. There's like, okay, well, they did it. We got our shots. Okay, is this guy done? Oh, shit. Well, okay. Well, we brought the white...
It's called shock, you fucking idiot. It's called shock. Anything that happens, I mean, like, holy shit, guys. If you live in Florida, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to earn $100,000, let me know.
Isn't that ironic? The guy who's claiming child abuse and all these things is the same guy who wanted to encourage his audience with a financial incentive to go out and harm this guy's father. He's now going to preach to this kid and tell him about child abuse and if he's in an unsafe environment. Also, keep in mind, these are the same people whose cohorts and their various communities were responsible for making fake CPS calls on Ethan Klein and his family. They seem to have no problem when that happened, but of course now they're preaching about this. It's very ironic. This guy is an absolute clown. Like, there's no other way to say it. And with Mike from PA and anything he does on social media, Twitter in particular, whenever he sees responses he doesn't like, it's so predictable. He hides them. If you look at the main set of comments on his quote, you'll see like, I don't know, a dozen comments on a post that's getting a lot of attention. That's because he hid virtually every single reply. Anything that even had a hint of negativity or criticism towards him. In fact, the first one on the list of hidden replies is the one from Nathaniel, where he's hiding this reply and it's still ratioing him. And you can see the amounts of replies being hidden here. It's insane. Of course there was one of these, right? Every single time. He hates this image, and it's always funny to see that in the hidden replies. But we didn't forget about Hasan Piker. Now, yesterday we talked about this GQ article that he did. He did an interview with them, and it's backfired horribly. Now, a little fun fact about that video I uploaded yesterday, in case you didn't see the pinned comment I made. It took multiple versions of my video to finally get it monetized, because the first couple of versions I uploaded would get auto-demonetized. No matter what I did, YouTube would automatically demonetize it. I think YouTube is doing that because of, I think, this image. That's why it's censored. He's fully clothed, but his legs are out a bit. I don't know. Clearly, YouTube was not having it. So it took a couple tries to get this video to work yesterday. But anyways, that's what he did. It backfired horribly. If you want to see the full details of that, check out yesterday's video. But Hasan, of course, had something to say about the situation as well, because of course he did. He says, it's funny because he captivated a sizable group of posters on here that, just like his son, referring to Destiny, hate the left more than Nazis and regularly align with Nazis to attack people. This is the least surprising ideological turn. It should be considered child abuse to let his son into his Discord. Again, I agree that minors should not be on social media, but again, it's very rich to see someone like Hasan and the communities he's associated with talking about child abuse and things like that when they seem to have really nothing to say about the CPS calls made on Ethan Klein and his family. A very disgusting situation. And also, I find it very ironic, kind of in a bit of a detached sense, that Hasan would comment on Destiny's son, because there's a very funny parallel I drew like a month ago when this whole situation unfolded. For those who don't know, Destiny's son, Nathaniel, he was streaming on Twitch for a while, and he got permabanned when he brought on a toy gun to a stream. Permabanned. Gone forever, specifically because of the toy gun he was flashing around on stream. And of course, if you're paying attention over the past couple of weeks, month or so, Hasan actively waved around what ended up being a toy gun. The audience didn't know at the time. He was presenting it as if it was a real gun while threatening multiple content creators, including people he mistakenly identified as people talking smack about him, which ended up being just random people, and essentially showed their face, like this guy's face who did nothing wrong, to everyone in his audience while waving around a gun, basically saying, come find out. What a crazy situation. He got no ban for this, by the way, but of course, Destiny's son, permabanned for basically the same action, if not even less, due to the threatening nature that Hasan was going for with his entire escapades here, if you could call it that. But anyways, another embarrassing situation for Hasan and the Orbiter crew, but hey, that's just another day in the life, I guess. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.